This is Karen with NewClevelandRadio.net, and it is time for What in the World with...
Hi, it's Paul Seaburn.
Hey, how
Hi.
are you, Paul?
I'm doing good, Karen. I'm here with Karen Hale, our producer and owner of NewClevelandRadio.net. Things are going good. We've just been talking. Things are going good with you. I'm glad to hear that. And we're also here with our man about sports and trivia, John Dinalo. Hi, John.
Hi, Paul. Hi, Karen. Hi, everybody.
We're all together again.
Here we go.
Yes, and that's right. We're here at What in the World, which is your weekly little respite from the bad news and the depressing news and the business news and the political news and all that other stuff you shouldn't be listening to because it just gets you depressed. That's why we're here with What in the World. Real news. It is real news, no fake news, real news. Sometimes strange and always funny. That's our motto. And that's what we hope to do every week. We're here. We'll be we're on NewClevelandRadio.net, which is the great platform in Cleveland, Ohio. If you're listening to us or watching us on YouTube, welcome. If you're listening on Spotify and on all that other stuff, great. Thank you for being with us. Go visit NewClevelandRadio.net. Check out all the other podcasts that Karen has. She has a slew of them, and they're great. So this week, I want to get right to it. As I mentioned to Karen and John off the air, it's another one of those weeks. I've been doing a new feature from Mysterious Universe called Mysterious News Briefly. So I've been having to dig even deeper. So I've got more stories than I know what to do with. If we run out we won't run out of stories. Let's put it that way. So if you're waiting for something that I may have mentioned and like on Facebook, go to mysteriousuniverse.org. You have a chance to take a look at some of those as well. I have links, I have pictures, I have video, I have visual aids. John, I have some visual aids for you today.
Excellent. Always looking forward to those, Paul.
So we're going to be talking about Bigfoot. We're going to be talking about a Bigfoot statue. We're going to be talking about Bigfoot swinging from trees. We're going to be talking about Chupacabra hitting the big screen, Karen.
Big screen.
Wow.
The big screen, yes. That remember movies, John?
Sure, I
Yeah.
do.
What are those?
Maybe it don't sound so convincing.
That's where that
but I
came
do.
from. I have to explain that to the kids who may have just tuned in and
Right.
watch things on their phone.
Exactly. Oh yeah, sure, of course.
We're going to learn about what to do if a bear approaches you. So we're going to find out about that. John has some weird Summer Olympics. We don't have the Summer Olympics this year, but John is bringing us some weird sports that used to be in the Summer Olympics that once he finishes talking about them, we may want them back because they sound pretty So
I hope so.
let's get right to it. So fans of the show, and I want to say hello to Tex Chick and Steeler Girl if they're on. Please, I want to say hi to them. Every once in a while, Jocelyn sticks her little computer gizmo in and listens to us. There were a couple other people, Cindy and Rich. And if you're coming in from around the world, hi to you. So anyways, anybody who's listened to the show before knows that I love sausages. John, I know you love sausages, more Italian than the kielbasi side.
Of course. I mean, you got to honor the heritage. You got to honor the heritage, Paul.
So you're gonna if you're a sausage lover, if you're a music lover, you're gonna love this story. So I just got word from our remote engineer that we're not going out live on YouTube.
No, we are. We're
Oh,
there.
we are. Okay.
Yep, I
All
can
right.
see it.
Like, yeah, just
I believe it says New Cleveland
Then
Radio.
maybe our remote engineer needs to check her equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so this story comes to us from Germany, the home of sausage, the birthplace of sausage. An inventor in Germany has made a working keyboard, a musical keyboard, out of sausages. Now, I know you don't believe me, John.
it's too funny.
You already have that look of disbelief. So I've got a visual aid here of the sausage piano.
Oh my gosh!
That he's playing, an electric piano made out of bockwurst. In fact, that's what he calls it, the Bockwurst piano. I didn't know this. I thought I knew of all the German sausages. Bockwurst is made during the spring, during Bock beer season. So as opposed to Oktoberfest, when I guess is the bratwurst and all that other stuff. So this is a Bock, yeah. And it's and if you're interested in making some at home, I know my buddy Rich, who I mentioned before, he makes his own sausage. I would love to do that. This stuff, it's a hint, a very delicate pork and veal link that contains parsley and egg. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it, John? You know?
To me, Paul, that sounds like all good ingredients.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, I wish I could have one of these Bach pianos. I can play a little bit of keyboards. There's a video of it online. If you look up the sausage piano, a video comes up and you hear it playing. I'm thinking, but the really good piano players would love this, like Elton John. Elton John should call Bernie. First, he should order one. Then he should call Bernie Taupin, his songwriter, and say, Bernie, I need some sausage songs. And Bernie would come up with them.
He would come up with something, I think. Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, maybe instead of Rocket Man, he would have Knockwurst Man. Or you'll like this one, John. Benny and the Franks.
Okay.
It's a good segue.
This is the lovely Donna's. This is her favorite song that I've now given a sausage side to it. Saturday night's all right for grilling. So now if he were playing in Cleveland, he would have to do some Cleveland oriented songs like "Who Stole the Keyboard."
Instead of "Who Stole the Kishka," right?
Thank you, John. That's right. And of course, along the same line, I lost my piano down the sewer, which was I lost my kielbasi down the sewer.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, Karen. You're not familiar with
not
the
from
polka
here.
genre. And now, Karen, rock. Okay, so this is a Starship song that was actually recorded. It's called "We Built This City on Sausage Rolls."
Oh,
Rock and roll. All right.
yeah.
Oh, John, it's hilarious. It
is hilarious.
If we could do videos, I'd play the video, and we could go to the bathroom for a couple minutes here. But, so we built this city on sausage rolls. So that was it. I love that story. I had a story. I didn't bring it along, but there was another one about also from Germany about a vending machine that holds nothing but sausages. And it looks great. It's my kind of vending machine. There's way worse than bratwurst and kielbasi and smoked, and I don't think there was any fresh. But I can just imagine some poor guy, and I've been in this boat where you got to have a candy bar, and you get to the vending machine, and all that's in there are stale paydays or something like that.
Or stale crackers.
Stale crackers. Oh, those are even worse, John. You're right. So here's this poor guy. He's got his beer in one hand, he's got his lederhosen on, he's got his marks in his hand, and all that's in there are Slim Jims. And,
It's a poor excuse.
Poor excuse. It shouldn't even be called sausage. Should not be called sausage.
Who knows what's in a Slim Jim?
Yeah. So, in sticking with the food theme here, Kraft, the cheese people. I shouldn't have to explain that. But I do. Kraft just announced that they are coming out next year with a breakfast macaroni and cheese. Think about that for a second, John. Breakfast macaroni and cheese.
Boy, I don't see it. I'm not feeling that one.
Not since our bachelor days when the refrigerator was empty and you had to make something for yourself would I have macaroni and cheese for breakfast. I've had pizza for breakfast, but not macaroni and cheese.
I got to tell you something. I've never had pizza for breakfast as bad as it
No.
was.
Oh.
No,
Oh no, that's the
family,
best.
everybody in my family,
Cold
they
pizza,
eat
yeah, you can't beat it.
oh, you know what? I can tell you, I'm really particular with that. Like, if it's a breakfast food, I eat it at breakfast. If it's like lunch, I eat it at lunch. Dinner, I eat it at dinner. But I really, for example, some of my family members, they eat spaghetti, leftover spaghetti
Yeah,
in the morning. No,
not you.
to my knowledge, to my knowledge, I don't think I've
Well,
ever
then
done
this
that.
is for you, John, because this stuff is it says breakfast macaroni and cheese on the box, so that legitimizes it, right? If it
Well,
says
it makes it more palatable, so to speak.
so, so I'm thinking, what's the commercial going to say for this stuff? And all I could think of was a commercial from our childhood. Silly rabbit, high cholesterol is for kids.
Oh yeah, good one. I like that. It's a good
Yeah.
disclaimer.
So, believe it or not, that's all they're doing is they're putting breakfast on the box. And the company spokesperson said the reason why is so that parents these days don't feel guilty about serving their kids who are stuck at home because of the shutdown
Right.
macaroni and cheese for breakfast instead of, pancakes and eggs or a big bowl of sugar smacks or whatever it is that the kids eat these days, which is probably worse for you than macaroni and cheese. So they're hoping that this increases sales. Like I can't imagine sales are hurting for Kraft macaroni and cheese these days because
Oh, that would be no. I mean, that's a staple. I
Right.
mean,
yeah,
Exactly.
sure.
it is, and it stores easily. You don't have to worry about refrigerating it. They even this is great. So to entice parents to buy it, if that's not enough, it includes a placemat for the kids to color while the mac and cheese is being prepared. That's what it says.
Oh wow.
Karen,
What
Karen, how do you prepare macaroni and cheese out of the box? Here's the instructions. You boil, you drain, and you add. That's it. There's
If you
nothing
can't follow
else to
that,
it.
if you can't follow
Nothing.
that, something's wrong.
Something's wrong, John. You're right. Something is wrong. So, and then it comes with a magnet to stick on the refrigerator to remind you that don't eat the healthy stuff in here. Have some macaroni and cheese for breakfast. With
What a
this is
promotion.
for you, John, with suggestions for toppings for your breakfast macaroni and cheese, like crumbled sausage, bacon, or scrambled eggs. Not a bad idea.
No.
You know, bacon.
that
If I can interject,
Right.
bacon would be a good idea. Bacon goes with everything. So
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, bacon
here's
would
my problem, and that is that I'm not always that awake for breakfast. So I may grab the macaroni and cheese and forget that it's macaroni and cheese and slice some bananas on it or dump
oh
scoops of
no,
raisins or
what kind of combination would that be?
That is sickening.
It is
I know, but before you have your first cup of coffee, who knows how your brain works.
I don't know.
So
There's something just wrong about that.
so John, as you pointed out, Kraft macaroni and cheese is a staple. It's a staple. And I wanted to do a little research on it. So it turns out it was invented during the Depression, which kind of makes sense. In Scotland, though, of all places, there was a guy who decided to help sell macaroni, elbow macaroni. He took a rubber band and a bag of shredded cheese, and he wrapped the rubber band around the macaroni box, and he charged more for it and sold it. Clever idea. Meanwhile, back in the United States, Kraft, I forget what his name was, John Kraft, I think, the guy that founded the company, was getting a patent for processed cheese. So he goes to some convention, or he goes to Scotland. They're kind of vague on how this happened. And he sees this and he says, what a brilliant idea. So he comes up with Kraft macaroni and cheese, introduced in 1937. The timeliest of days that he could, because it's not only is it in the Depression, but you're fast approaching World War II and food rationing. So people don't have meat, They may not have refrigeration. They certainly don't have money. He sells 50 million boxes of Kraft macaroni and cheese during World War II. It cost, they had ration coupons back in those days. My grandparents used to talk about those. One ration coupon got you 2 boxes of macaroni and cheese.
Wow.
I guess that was a pretty good deal. Yeah, I don't know. They said it was a good deal, so I'm going to believe them.
I still have some ration coupons.
Oh, they've got to be worth 2 boxes of macaroni and cheese at least.
Probably, yeah.
I'd like to see you go to the grocery store with one of those and see if you can buy anything, Karen. That would be a show right there.
Oh, you know what? Maybe I'll just do that. Yeah.
Don't forget to wear your mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Wear your mask, Karen.
So it was nothing but powdered cheese, powdered orange cheese, and macaroni until 1975 when they switched to, or they expanded to spiral macaroni. They had that. In 1984, they came out with Velveeta shells and cheese. So little still processed cheese product, loosely defined as cheese. And that same gross yellow and orange color, which the FDA finally banned. It was a dye, yellow dye number 5, yellow dye number 6, made from petroleum products. Couldn't use those anymore. So, and here's our little my little trivia quiz for you guys. Do you know what they replaced the chemicals with to give it that glow in the dark orange color?
I do not.
I have no idea.
Haven't made any macaroni and cheese in a while and looked at the ingredients. That color comes from paprika, annatto, and turmeric. Now, not everybody knows where those 3 things came from. Paprika, you can kind of figure that out. It's a pepper, but not from Hungary. I buy a can of paprika and it says Hungarian paprika on it. That's about all you can get at the store. It actually comes from Central America, which is where all peppers originated. So, yeah, it's a mild pepper with these red seeds inside of it.
Okay.
And that's where the color comes from. They dry them and they grind them. Annatto comes from the same area. It's the seed of the enchiote tree, which is native to Mexico and Central America and some parts of South America. So you've got the red, you've got orange red from the annatto, and turmeric comes from India, which I didn't, I thought it was another seed. It's actually a flower, a whole plant, and they dry it and grind it up, and that's where turmeric comes from. So none of it comes from Hungary, which is a country whose economy is dependent on paprika and all of the food products associated that they dump it into. In fact, I just made some myself. I made some chicken paprikash, which is named after paprika. So, and it's not just us, John. Canada, believe it or not, they don't call it macaroni and cheese. They trick people. They call it Kraft dinners. And the Kraft dinner is the national dish of Canada, unofficial. But as far as they're concerned, it's the national dish of Canada.
National
they love
dish.
it. Yeah.
Amazing.
Sitting there watching hockey, eating macaroni and cheese.
Doing the Canadian thing.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, send your hate mail to John Dinello. So speaking of Canada, that's my segue there. Believe it or not, and I don't think I have a picture of this one, but you can find it on the internet. Believe it or not, in Canada, they're starting to see satellite dishes popping up on beaver dams. In the middle, in the middle of a river.
Yeah.
Little satellite dishes. So they're saying it's not the beavers, but I think it's the beavers. They want to pick up Leave It to Beaver, of course. And
bad one.
Yeah, I know you were waiting for that. Maybe some performances of Damn Yankees or Gone with the Wind, to hear what's his name say at the end.
I don't
Wifey,
give a
my
damn.
dear. Yeah, I don't give a damn. Their favorite band is a band called Damnation of Adam Blessing, which was a Cleveland band.
Hey, that
But
Cleveland
anyway,
band,
so what it really is people throw out their satellite dishes and they don't recycle them. So pranksters have been picking them up out of the trash and sticking them at the beaver dams. Yeah.
okay.
Oh yeah. They got nothing better to do during the coronavirus shutdown.
Yeah, no kidding.
So when you're in Canada, John, the next time you're in Canada, you've been to at least the coast of Canada, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I've been to Canada a number of times, actually.
Okay. Have you ever seen a bear?
Yes.
Oh, that's right. I think you've seen grizzly bears or
Yes,
polar bears.
yes, we have. Yes, we have seen them up there because we were
Well,
up the St. Lawrence River. So we were in
Yeah.
a lot of those different provinces that right around the St. Lawrence.
Well,
So
they probably gave you some instructions in case you were to encounter a bear. But for those of us, oh no, they didn't do that.
I don't think so, Paul. I don't think so. We didn't get that kind of guidance. We
They
were kind
left
of
you on your own.
yeah, kind of
Well,
on our own.
Fortunately, in the good old U.S. of A., we have the National Park Service, the
Okay,
NPS,
yeah.
National Park Service, which just recently, just last week, issued instructions on what to do if you should encounter a bear and what not to do. That's more important.
Mhm.
And we live in Brecksville. Oh, John, you live right there in the next city over there in North Welton. We have bears in this part of the country.
That is true.
Yeah, they wander over here from Canada. They steal, or from Pennsylvania,
Mhm.
steal our honey, and then sneak out in the dead of night back over the border and probably sit outside Steeler Stadium saying, "Oh, those stupid Browns fans." But anyways, the National Park Service issued this statement, and I'm going to read it, the direct quote. If you should encounter bears, please don't run from bears or push your slower friends down in attempts of saving yourself.
It's pretty heartless. Pushing down your slower moving friend.
There you go. Yeah.
Who would think to do that?
Obviously, this has happened before. This is one of those kinds of things like the warning labels on stuff where you read it and you say, "Oh my God, somebody really did that. They put the toaster in the bathtub." But this is actually from an old joke where what do you I don't somebody asks you if you can outrun a bear or a gorilla or any other kind of animal, and you say, "I don't need to outrun a bear. I just need to outrun my slowest friend." That's an old.
I know
old
that
joke.
that's an old joke. It is, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
familiar with that. Yeah, sure.
So, but if I saw a bear, I would move, maybe over to the gorilla cage or the monkeys because I prefer the monkeys at the zoo than the bear. But if I saw a bear in the wild, I have heard that you're not supposed to yell at them or run.
Clearly not startle them. If you startle them, you're in trouble.
There you go. Yeah. So what the National Park Service says is to stay facing them and back away, which is probably good advice when you go to vote too.
Oh my gosh!
So I had to work that in there. But stay facing them and back away. So so you always know where the bear is, and you kind of have to look down every once in a while so you don't trip and fall, because then for sure the bear's going to be having dinner.
You as the dinner.
There you go. Yeah, there's no, if he's in Canada and can't find any macaroni and cheese, if you got some cheese in your pocket, maybe you're the macaroni and cheese. So now that's what you do when you're confronted by a bear. What do you do when you're confronted by a cow?
A
Say
cow.
moo.
Yeah, you move away, right, Karen? You got it. So, and I've encountered plenty of cows. So when it's kind of the same thing. You can outrun cows, and they're usually behind a fence. But what if your cow is on your roof? Then what do you do?
On your roof.
On your roof. This
Yeah.
is a true story, John, just like all the stories here on What in the World.
Of course, they're all true.
This actually happened in Korea, where dozens of cows were stranded on the roof in a suburb of Seoul, a farming area near Seoul, that was flooded. And after the flooding receded, rather than the cows being on the ground, they're on the roofs of houses. And the officials there had no idea, A, how they got up there, and B, how they were going to get them down. And I know you're disbelieving, John, so I brought a picture of cows on the roof, which would be a great name for a band, I think.
Paul, you have visual proof of this. Wow.
Yeah, how about that? Cows on the roof. And not just one. Looks like a whole herd of cows on there.
Who would have thought of that? Wow.
Yeah. You know, I hope somebody didn't have to go up there and milk them. But so it turns out, I know you were curious about this, Karen. Cows can swim, so they could have been, they wouldn't have drowned in the flooding. And they can float, which I kind of figured, you know, with all that methane built up inside of them.
They have buoyancy, natural.
Yeah, they're buoyant, John. Not only are they buoyant, but as they pass that methane, it's like a giant motorized cow, like a jet ski cow, just flowing along. They should have been able to move away from the roofs, but somehow they ended up on the roofs. So I take it upon myself to try and figure out a way to get these poor cows off the roof. And what inspired me was the movie Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
I know the movie.
I remember a famous scene in that movie when King Arthur and his knights approach a French castle, and they want to get into the castle. And the knights who are on the top of the castle guarding it, they say things like, first they insult them by saying, "Your mother was a hamster and your father smelt of elderberries."
That's a direct quote.
Yeah, when that didn't chase him away, they said, "I fart in your general direction." And when that didn't chase him away, they pulled out the catapult and they hurled cows over the wall of the castle down onto King Arthur.
I remember the scene well.
So there you go. All they need is a catapult up to raise up to the level of the roof and fling it over to the ground. I might get a little messy. So it turns out you don't have to build one. You can get a catapult on Amazon.
Amazon?
On Amazon, yes.
What's the cost of that? Paul, what is the cost of that?
$77.
$77.
Believe it or not, it's a bargain. So here it is. Here's the picture of it from Amazon. So obviously this is a toy. It's not the real thing.
I'm glad of that. I was concerned if it was to be the real thing.
But this would be good practice. It comes with a Trojan rabbit, which, if you remember the movie, after the cow incident, they came back with not a Trojan horse, but a giant wooden rabbit.
I do remember that.
Which would have worked, except they forgot to hide inside of it.
Go figure. Go figure.
Yeah. So it comes with a Trojan rabbit, and it comes with good advice. It comes with ducks, sheep, and cows. It repels knights and kings, and its motto is "Keep your grail safe with this bovine trebuchet." So you get to learn a little bit of French. Trebuchet is French for a type of catapult that uses a long arm to throw a projectile, which to me, I guess, is the traditional catapult in my mind. There's two different kinds. There's one that uses manual power, and then there's one that uses a counterweight, which I'm sure is what they used here. It's much more common in Europe, in medieval Europe, which of course, Monty Python and the Holy Grail was based on a lot of facts. The knights were all names from Knights of the Round Table. So they so that's what a trebuchet is, and that's where you can get one if you ever have a cow on your roof. Now you know.
Well, that's a useful factoid. I'll store that away.
Well, here's something you might have on your roof, perhaps before you have a cow on your roof, and that would be Bigfoot. So there was a story this week. Yeah, Bigfoot. I know. Yeah, a lot of the websites I go to are promoting tourist packages for when we finally start to travel again, and also to help out places that are really hurting for business. And one of them is a place in the state of Washington that has the world's tallest Bigfoot statue. Any idea, any guess as to how tall the world record Bigfoot statue might be?
I have no clue.
No clue. Karen?
I'm going to go 5 stories high.
5 stories high. It's 22 feet high, so that would be a little over 2 stories.
Okay.
It's concrete, and it's been there since 1994 at the North Fork Survivors Gift Shop. So I'm wondering, so why is it the survivors? Well, it turns out the previous owner lived in a house next to the souvenir shop when Mount St. Helens erupted back in 1980, and the lava came down and buried the house. For some reason, it didn't bury the store, but it buried the house. So what they did was they built on top of the lava. Once the lava solidified, they built a new house on top of the lava. And in commemoration of the event, I guess, they built this Bigfoot statue using ground volcanic ash from the eruption. So it was built in 1992 by a woman of all, which is surprising. Beverly Roberts was her name. And it took her 2 years. She used a custom mixture of concrete and sand and Mount St. Helens ground lava and ground ash. She built a steel skeleton. Then she built scaffolding around it. And then she pasted the concrete onto the skeleton from the bottom up. So she started with the feet, moved her way up to the top. And this is no amateur deal. She was a professional sculptor. So she made, you can see, in fact, I have a picture of it. I'm not sure if you can see the hair. Okay, let's see. There we go. There's the Bigfoot statue and the current owners down there. She put little grooves and stuff into the hair, so it looks like real hair, real fur on the body, and it's solid. They had one previously. This sounds like a homemade one, like John and I would put together, made out of wire with carpet material stuck to it. So that one fell over, and then some kids, vandalized it. This 22-foot concrete Bigfoot statue has not only withstood wind, withstood more eruptions, it withstood a car running into it. So this is one solid Bigfoot statue. And it's located right at the foot of Mount St. Helens. I'm sure there's other souvenir stores there, but if I go to Mount St. Helens, that's where I'm going. So I always like to have a sports story to lead into What in the World of Sports with John. I have only one sports story this week, and it had nothing to do with what we're talking about, but it has a lot to do with the state of the world today. And this comes from Cincinnati, Ohio. As you know, John and Karen, you guys are both baseball fans. You can't attend the game because of the virus shutdown. But you can purchase a cardboard cutout and have it seated in a seat that will be shown on TV.
And my husband is buying 2 of them.
Is he really?
Yes, he is.
Both of him?
No, him and me. So we'll have date nights.
How nice of him.
Fair.
That's good for him. So an expectant mom and dad in Cincinnati, Ohio, decided they wanted their baby to grow up to be a Reds fan. So they took the, what do you call it? The sonogram picture,
Mm-hmm.
and, and they bought a cardboard cutout of the sonogram, and it is now propped up in Red Stadium. I'm not sure what you know what Red Stadium is called, where the Reds play, John?
I don't remember.
Aaron?
A Great
Yeah.
American Ballpark.
Oh, is that what it's called?
they-
Okay.
The Great
There we
American
go.
Ballpark.
Yeah.
I've been
So
actually,
they're
I've been
hoping
there.
that this influences their baby to become a Reds fan. So I'm, you have to be careful with this kind of stuff because things could go wrong. People play that classical music by their pregnant bellies, hoping that the kid will grow up appreciating music. It may be that all this kid appreciates after all of that is hot dogs. And not baseball, and certainly not the Cincinnati Reds. In fact, her doctor said, you may want to get some formula and grind up some hot dogs and be ready in case this poor little kid comes out.
Oh boy.
And I was thinking, sure, that sounds gross, doesn't it, John?
Yes,
What was the first meat that your mom fed you? Do you remember?
Ah, boy, no idea.
I'll bet it was hot dogs because I can remember watching my mom feed my two sisters, and the first meat that she gave them was hot dogs cut up into real little pieces, which was a easily digestible, tasty, salty, cheap thing. Right, Karen? You're a mom.
Well, wait a minute. I've got a connection here for you. So I remember growing up, we used to have cut up hot dogs with scrambled eggs.
With scrambled eggs. Oh,
Scrambled
yeah,
eggs.
sure.
Oh yeah, sure,
You could mix hot dogs with anything.
sure.
The lovely Donna, one of the meals she used to make when we first got married was weenies and beanies.
Yep.
Which was almost as complicated as macaroni and cheese. Open up a can, boil some wieners, mix them together.
Boom, dinner's on the table.
I need something to eat tonight. So anyway, so that's all. That's my baseball story. But John, on the other hand, has been doing some serious research here. This is August of 2020. And if this were a normal year, we would be in the throes of the Summer Olympics, which I believe were scheduled to be held in Tokyo. Because of all this, yeah, they've been delayed to 2021. There's, that's a long way off. There's doubt whether that'll happen or not. But in the meantime, John has done some research on some very interesting sports that are no longer part of the Olympics, but maybe they should be. So take it away, John Dinalo. Wait, I should have went to rehearsal. What in the world of sports with John Dinalo? Go ahead.
Hey, thank you for the introduction, Paul. Appreciate it. So today we have three unusual events of the Olympic Games that are no longer part of the events. And I think they're very good trivia topics. So let's start with the first one. The first one is the 200-meter obstacle race in swimming. Let me repeat that.
Yeah,
The 200-meter obstacle race in swimming. Now, this unusual swimming event from the 1900 Paris Olympics seems complicated, but really it's a lot of fun. The race was a combination of a swimming event and an obstacle race. The competitors had to climb over a pole, then scramble over a row of boats, and then swim under another row of boats. On top of it, this did not take place in a large swimming pool, of course. It took place in the Seine River.
Yeah.
So not only do you have to get through those obstacles, but you're also, as a competitor, contending with the current. This is a river. This is a major river.
And
So
the
people are
pollution.
doing that.
Yeah,
Now,
and the fish.
Exactly. Now, the
I
event.
love this sport. This sounds great.
It's amazing. This event was only held in 1900, never to return again.
Why not?
Good question, Karen. I'm not really sure.
Oh,
I mean, the International Olympic Committee, I don't know. They didn't seem to feel it was important. So it
How do you
wonders.
how do you train for something like that? That's just
That's the other part. Exactly.
yeah.
How long does it take for you to train to be effective in that?
Here's a better question. Why would you train for something?
Well, that's an
I
even
mean,
a better question is right. I agree with you. Yeah,
gold medal's a gold medal, but
right.
maybe running's your sport, not
Well,
swimming under boats.
there's really not a lot I could find about who designed that event or came up with the event. I'll continue to do more research. I'll get back to you on that.
Oh yeah, see who won. What country?
yeah. You know,
Right. Well, I'll do that.
just so you know, we have somebody from Poland listening today.
Oh
And not
wow.
Poland, Ohio, Poland, the country. So
In
who
Eastern
do you
Europe.
know?
Zdrowia.
Yeah.
Very good.
How
Okay.
about
Good.
that? A little bit of Polish for you.
Very good.
I'll
Okay.
sing I lost my kielbasi down the sewer later.
You segue
Go
right
ahead,
back to
John.
it never goes away. It never goes away. Okay, here's the second event. The second event is one of Paul's favorite. This is the tug of war.
Tug of war. I love tug of war.
The tug of
The
war
Olympics. You're saying it was in the Olympics.
in the Olympics, and it was held from 1900 to 1920. The tug of war was always contested as part of track and field, although now the IOC considers it a separate sport.
Even though they don't play it.
Even though they don't play it, but yeah, it's considered a separate sport.
Historically.
So
Okay.
again, but anyway, but this may seem like an unusual Olympic event, but in reality, it was an important part of the ancient Olympics, and the first contests go back to 500 BC.
Wow.
A lot of history
They had
associated
rope
with it.
way back
So-
then.
Okay, so in the modern Olympics, the tug of war contest was between two teams of 8 contestants. One team had to pull the other team a total of 6 feet in order to win. If after a total of only 5 minutes, no team had done this, the team which pulled the greatest distance was declared the winner.
Wow.
And
So
well, it's interesting though, after 1920, it goes the same route as the 200-meter obstacle race. It's gone.
I can't believe it.
Well,
Sport
they
like that.
They chose
Here's-
not to continue it, but yeah, but for so from 1900 to 1920 though, that was an
That was a
event.
big sport. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure the Americans were big in that one. But now, John, did you say that it was 500 years old?
No, it goes back. The contest of tug of war, the origins go back to 500 BC.
500 BC. Okay, so that's 2,500
The ancient
years
games,
ago. Yeah.
right? The ancient.
So I'm thinking, how do you time 5 minutes in 500 BC? Do you have a
Your
sundial?
sundial on your watch, on your wrist? No, of course you don't, Paul.
It's like the Flintstones. Yeah, the guy standing up with the
We're
watch.
fast forwarding. We're fast forwarding, so you have a timepiece of some kind. So anyway,
Okay, John, love it. I love it. I think they should bring tug of war, and I like the obstacle course. I think they should do that too.
I'll dig into some more info on that for everyone, and we'll talk about that in the
Oh
future.
yeah.
Yeah.
The phone lines are lighting up here.
Now we have the most unusual event in my
Okay.
opinion. Most unusual. So this is live pigeon shooting. I'll repeat that. Live pigeon shooting was
Where's
Oh.
PETA when you need them?
well, I don't know. It seems pretty cruel, Karen, but let me continue on here. So, once again, in the 1900 Olympic Games, live pigeon shooting was held, but this is the only time in recorded Olympic history that this particular event took place. The object of the event was to shoot and kill as many pigeons as possible.
Well, pretty simple.
It is. Now, the official report of the games described this sport as, and this is French, très aristocratique, which means very aristocratic.
Oh,
Not sure
and-
what that is, but that's what they refer to it as.
and when you say it in French, it sounds even more aristocratic.
Right. My French accent's not very good, even though I took French in college. But at any rate, so this was the first and only time in Olympic history when animals were killed on purpose. And although the
That's
event is not listed in the official IOC records, the event did in fact take place. So the location, the pigeon shooting was held at Circle du Bois de Boulogne, and there were 2 competitions at this particular field. The Centenary Grand Prize was held on June 19th with 166 entrants.
Wow.
The other event, the other competition, the 1900 World Expo Grand Prize is what it was called. It was held from June 25th to June 27th. There were 54 competitors in this event. And how it worked, how the competition took place was the following. 6 birds were released 27 meters in front of the participant. The participant was eliminated after shooting at and then missing 2 birds. So if you shot and missed 2 birds, you were out of the competition. The winner was declared as the individual that shot down the most birds from the sky. Didn't count if a bird was still alive. You had to shoot the bird down and had to be, and then had to die and then land to the ground.
Wow.
Okay. Nearly 300 birds were killed in that competition.
Holy smoke. Well, 166 people.
Well, sure.
Well, that's a lot of competitors.
Right. Well, and then of course the other event had
50 something.
50 something. So there's over 200 people involved in this.
Yeah.
So the event turned out to be a rather messy in the end, with blood and feathers littering the playing field. An award of 20,000 francs was the prize for the winner of each competition. But interestingly enough, each of the 4 top finishers agreed to split the winnings. So in the interest of competition and brotherhood, they split the winnings.
After killing pigeons for
days.
That's a lot of money. I would.
It is.
Sounds like 20,000 of anything sounds like a lot.
Especially in the year 1900. Think of that.
Yeah.
Okay. So
and of course this is in France, so they were making. They cooked all those pigeons. They made.
In Italy, the squab.
Yeah.
Okay, is like a delicacy.
Yeah.
My relatives, my ancestors used to tell me about that.
Yeah.
But they actually hunt and shoot squab and then serve it.
Serve it,
yeah. But anyway.
For breakfast.
That's right. Let's eat. So the winner of the Centenary Grand Prize, for the record, was Donald McIntosh of Australia. He bagged 22 birds.
Wow.
The winner of the 1900 World Expo Prize was Leon de Lunden of Belgium, and he killed 21 birds. Well, there you have it, folks.
You go. Wow.
A little slice of Olympic history, events that we no longer have, but obviously were significant back in the day.
Yeah.
And obviously a good topic for trivia.
Yep.
That's my contribution today, folks.
Wow, that's great. Thank you, John. I think I like, me, I love tug of war, but this swimming obstacle course thing has got me intrigued.
It's fascinating. I'll find out more info for everybody. We'll be back.
I would much rather watch that than those rhythmic, the thing where the women are in the water.
Synchronized swimming?
Synchronized swimming, thank you. Yeah. I'd much rather watch that. Or when they spin the ribbons around, the gymnasts, the rhythmic gymnastics. Give me a break.
That one never really, excuse me.
Waving.
No, I know. That never caught my attention either. I could never figure that out.
No. And it's colors, not guys.
Nice colors of those, but I don't get it. But, so it is.
Go to the balloon store. They got plenty of ribbons.
There you go.
Party City, I think they call it. Yeah.
There you have it. There you have it.
Birthday section. They got ribbons. They got all that.
Party. It's at Party City. Go right in there. You can find it.
Get a little plug. Karen, see if we can get them as a sponsor.
Oh, I'm right on it.
Party City. There used to be one over by your house, if I'm not mistaken.
They're out of business.
Not anymore. Are they out of business? There you go. Boy, they missed their chance. They could have been sponsors for What in the World. We could have saved them. Speaking of saving, we're going to save the chupacabra here.
Chupacabra!
Yes. Karen's favorite monster, the chupacabra. Used to be, like the song goes, if you wanted to make it, you had to make it in New York. And if you could make it there, you could make it anywhere. Well, that's not the case anymore. Now it's Netflix. If you can get a Netflix show or a Netflix special, then you've got it made. Well, guess what? The Chupacabra is about to make it.
Really?
Yeah. Netflix is coming out with a Chupacabra movie.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. It's produced by, and this is legitimate. This is real, big time producers and directors. So the producer is Chris Columbus, not the guy that they're knocking the statues down of. This is the guy who directed let's see, Home Alone. He directed both of the Home Alone movies.
Okay.
He directed Mrs. Doubtfire.
Ooh,
He
Uh-huh.
good.
Lost
Yeah.
in
Oh,
Vegas.
that movie, sure.
Big time guy, and he directed 2 of the Harry Potter movies. So this is a big time guy. He's producing it. The director is a guy from Mexico, and he and his father did Gravity, which was a big movie a couple of years ago.
A couple years ago, yeah.
Yeah. So they got big name people behind it. So I'm hoping, I know I would say I know a bit about Chupacabra. I'm hoping this is going to be a horror story or a monster, really treat the Chupacabra, give it the introduction to the
due.
world.
Give the monster its due, right?
Absolutely.
So here's the synopsis, John. The film follows a teenager who, while visiting his family in Mexico, gains an unlikely companion when he discovers a young chupacabra hiding in his grandpa's shed. In order to save the mythical creature, Alex and his cousins must embark on the adventure of a lifetime. Forget it. This is Chupacabra and the Hendersons here. This is this is a Disney movie. This is not a true Chupacabra movie. So, I mean, in fact, I have a list of potential titles if this were a Disney movie. 101 Chupacabras. That's what this sounds like. Snow White and the 7 Chupacabras. Beauty and the Chupacabra. I'm sure that would be popular. But if they want, and I know why they're doing this, they want to sell stuff. They want to sell
Sure.
action figures. Yeah, stuffed Chupacabras. Chupacabra sweatpants. That's what everybody's going to be wearing after this movie is over. So the best way to do that, frozen Chupacabra. Trust me. They haven't named it yet.
Oh, man.
I'm guessing that's what it's going to be. And if you have nothing else to do, and that's what we have at these days with the shutdown. There's actually been some other Chupacabra movies, but they weren't that good. There was El Chupacabra, Chupacabra Terror, Goat Sucker. That one sounds good. Rise of the Chupacabras. Now there's a good title for you.
Yeah.
Happy movie.
That's a good title, yeah.
Mexican Werewolf in Texas. I like that. So, they're doing it for the money. They're doing it to sell stuff. And what they should do, they should go up to New York because what has made it in New York, and I'll make this one quick so we can play everybody's favorite game, Bluff the co-host. There's apparently a Bigfoot living in the Hudson Valley in the north of Manhattan that swings from trees. So this was reported. There's a woman, she's working as a gardener, a landscaper, and she goes to dump some stuff in the woods behind the house that she's doing the landscaping for. The owner says it's okay. She goes back there. Something falls from the tree. She doesn't know what it is. Might be a tree trunk or something. It gets up. It's 7 feet tall.
Whoa.
It starts running away. First it runs towards her. Then it runs away because she screamed. And it jumps into a tree and swings from tree to tree. Now, she says it has orange fur. Okay, so first thing everybody thinks of, it's an orangutan. It must have escaped somebody's pet. But the Hudson Valley is a big Bigfoot hotspot. we did a story recently about finding Bigfoot dens in the Hudson Valley. This is the same place. So they have a whole bunch of Bigfoot experts over there. So they go out into this area and they're finding all kind of stuff that says, no, this isn't a monkey. This is a Bigfoot. Now they've never seen one that swings from tree to tree. So they're kind of looking forward to just seeing if they can find it, which so am I, because I'm thinking, this would be perfect, like a Bigfoot Cirque du Soleil, a Cirque du Sasquatch, where you got, Bigfoot swinging from trapezes and, maybe doing some other kind of tricks. So, anyways, so they're up there looking for these Bigfoot swinging from a tree. Now, it could be a baboon or an orangutan, and if it is, I hope they catch it and find the owner, or place it someplace where it's safe, because New York is not a place for orangutan.
I don't think it would be.
So, anyways, maybe pose for a statue swinging from a tree. I could.
Something like that, Paul.
I think that was a song, Bigfoot swinging from the tree.
Oh.
Well, anyway, so now we've come to, after all these great weird stories, we come to the portion of the show everybody looks forward to. Bluff the co-host. And I know John loves playing this. Karen is a tough foe. And the way Bluff the co-host works, if you haven't seen it before, I have 3 more stories. Big difference between these and the ones we've been talking about. Those were real. These may or may not be real. Some may be real, some may be a bluff. Could be all 3 of them real, could be all 3 bluff, or some combination of the above. So I will read the stories, and it's up to John and Karen to decide if the story is real or a bluff.
Okay.
The buzzers?
I'm ready.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, get ready. Here we go. Story number 1. The hot new ice cream shop in California is a small chain called Geometries, which serves ice cream scoops in geometric shapes. Geometries was invented by 2 elementary school math teachers looking for a fun way to help their students learn about geometric solids. According to the owners, the hardest part was getting heavy-duty metal ice cream scoops made in the shapes that only math teachers can remember, like the tetrahedron, the dodecahedron, and the icosahedron.
Wow.
Now, if you don't know these shapes, you may want to look them up before you go to Geometries, because the shop gives a discount to anyone who can name and describe them without looking at the menu first.
Wow.
Well, once the pandemic shutdown is over, Geometries plans to expand to wherever math is taught and ice cream is eaten. Okay, so ice cream shop in California, where else, called Geometries, made by math teachers serving ice cream in the shapes of geometric solids, not just circles and squares, but tetrahedrons. Karen, I'll let you go first.
Math was my worst subject. So I don't even know if those are really shapes. But I'm just going to say it's true.
So Karen says it's real. Karen says it's true. John, how about yourself?
I'm going to say it's real also. And not to sound provincial, but it's in California, isn't it? Enough said. I'm going to say it's real. I'm going to say
John says it's real. Karen says it's real. I will say that the tetrahedron, which is a solid with varying lengths of sides, is real, as is the dodecahedron and the icosahedron. The rest of the story is a bluff, I'm afraid. Not a bad idea.
Oh,
Wait a minute. So we were both wrong?
we're both wrong.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
John, you're not good at math, I know.
That is true. Oh my gosh. I could have sworn.
I think as an old math major, I would love to go to some place like this. That's why I thought when I came up with that idea, I said, "Oh, this is great. Maybe I should try it." Okay, So let's see if you can do better here. Story number 2. You ready?
Ready?
Yes.
Here goes. A town in Spain called Smurf Village, where all of the houses are painted blue and many of them are shaped like mushrooms, has banned a beloved 70-year-old man who has lived there all of his life because he refuses to wear a mask, which he says is for medical reasons. When the village became a popular tourist attraction 40 years ago, this man had a tattoo artist make his body completely Smurf blue, dyed his hair and his beard snow white, and paid an underground plastic surgeon to give him a huge nose so that he looked exactly like a living Papa Smurf. Everything was fine for years and years until the mandatory order to wear masks went into effect, and he could not find one that would effectively cover his massive Smurf nose. Papa Smurf, he had his name changed legally, is now living in Portugal, where they don't mind that he wears a paper bag over his head or a mask. The man who lives in Smurf Village in Spain made himself blue, gave himself a giant nose, and now he's banned from his own hometown because he can't wear a mask. Real or bluff? John, we'll go with you first. There's no math in this one.
Yeah, I'm glad there's no math. I got a fighting chance. I'm going to say real.
Real, okay.
Real.
I'm going to say bluff.
even though, Karen, we haven't done one in a while, but we've done some stories about people with weird tattoos. So you still say
I know.
the guy who tattooed himself completely blue, got a giant nose, and calls himself Papa Smurf is a bluff.
I say it's a bluff.
I think it's a bluff. Okay, well, let's see. That's one correct for Karen. And John, guess what?
Another wrong answer.
There you go.
Another wrong answer.
As everybody knows, answer our third question is double or nothing. So
right.
Points are double, John. This is
chance
your
to redeem myself. Here I go.
Okay, Karen, this is your chance to win. Story number 3. A British robot company called Starship wants to build this city on rocking and rolling delivery robots, but it's having problems in one English town where it's testing them out after one of their robots making a delivery, drove itself into a canal and drowned or shorted out or whatever it is that robots do when stuck underwater for 4 hours. A dog walker happened to see the cooler-sized 6-wheeled robot roll into the canal, but didn't do anything because the company has warned residents not to worry when they see the robot stopped or going in circles or doing other strange-looking things. Fortunately, the robot was equipped with 10 cameras and GPS, and the company was able to find it. There's no word on whether it can be dried out or will it be reassigned to a desk job, keeping the beer cool for company picnics. So the robot that ended its poor robot life by driving directly into a canal and drowning or short-circuiting, made by a company called Starship in an unnamed British town. Delivery robot. Real or bluff? Karen?
Well, if it's anything like my robot vacuum cleaner,
Oh, yeah.
it makes lots of mistakes. So I'm going to say real. Because
The robot vacuum cleaner makes mistakes?
he fights
Your house is so
carpets.
clean. Yeah?
Yeah. He takes
Wow.
my little carpets and moves them all over the house.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I'd like to hack into one and have it make patterns in the rug.
So would I. Yes.
Yeah, I think that would be funny. But okay, so you say it's...
It's a bluff. It's real.
Okay. John?
I'm going to say it's real.
John says it's real. John goes against Karen here again.
No.
No, we're both going the same way.
We're both.
Oh, you said it was real?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. My sound isn't working here correctly. Okay, so Karen says it's real. John says it's real. Guess what? You're both right.
Hey,
Hey, but you still
Actually,
didn't win,
it's
John.
redeemed. Paul, thank you for making the last question double or nothing.
I
I
couldn't
feel
believe
good.
it.
I can
I
sleep
love
well
the
tonight.
idea.
I can sleep
Yeah,
well
they
tonight.
actually warn people, don't, if they see the robots doing something weird, don't touch it. Just let it go. It's either resetting or resting or something. So the lady watchers are going into the canal and doesn't think anything of it.
Really?
Only in England, although
Only in
who
England.
knows?
Only in
It
England.
could happen anyway. So anyways, that brings us to the conclusion of another fun week of What in the World. I want to thank Karen, the newclevelandradio.net mogul and our producer, for keeping us rolling here and getting us on YouTube and all those other platforms. John Dinalo, as always, thank you for What in the World of Sports and all your color commentary. Looking forward to another great week. Everybody stay safe, wash your hands, wear a mask, and we'll see you next week.
We'll see everyone next week.
We'll be back
right.
again. Have a great day, everybody.
Have a great day,
Bye.
everyone. Okay.